Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, has returned. Ooh, 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 raw. What a mega pop that was, huh? What a goddamn pop. I'm John Renton with my review of WWE SummerSlam 2024 from the Cleveland Browns Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. Not to be confused with Cleveland, wherever the fuck else. There's only one Cleveland. Hello, Cleveland. And boy, Cleveland definitely came to say hello. Hello. They just came to say hello. Okay, so for those of you that missed it when I talked about it in my predictions and even before my SmackDown review got rolling, I had to watch this show on delay because I'm in the midst of working a back-to-back. I got off work a few hours ago, watched SummerSlam, and I have to be back at work in less than 5 hours as of this recording. So, yeah, apologies if I'm a little bit slappy and if I'm just a little bit just unhinged. Then again, how can you tell? So, that being said, I do want to praise some of this show. And then there are other things I didn't like, but overall, I thought this mostly delivered. So, yeah, the capacity for this particular stadium, about 67,000. They said they had 57,791. They probably counted all the staff there, but you know what? Whatever. It was a pretty packed stadium. So, I did not watch the kickoff. I was apparently told there were interview pieces, but there was nothing of note, nothing like that would make you think like, okay, they're going to change some match results. There are a couple things that worry me, and I'll talk about them as the show goes on. But yeah, sponsored by C4 Energy and Wingstop. I have tried the C4 WWE flavors. They are not very good. So the stadium looks great. And the very long entranceway. Hello, Cleveland, says Triple H. Here's Jelly Roll. Okay, and then we got a package. There are people that like him. I have nothing against him. His music is not my cup of tea. Miz is the host, and he's in the crowd. And then Rhea and Dominic make their entrance from the back. This will be a recurring theme. And good God, Rhea. My God, Rhea. Good grief. With all respect, my God. All right, and we have a referee cam. I'm sorry, that was a Ted Turner thing. Yeah, but they have a referee cam, and I don't know how to feel about that. I'm all for what's old is new again, but I don't know. Samantha looked amazing, as you would expect. Liv shows up, and Liv has been embracing this whole goddamn thing. Normally, I would say, Kier, stop thinking about it, but you know what, Kier? Your girl retained here, and honestly, I'm not really all that surprised. I will talk about it as the match goes on. But look, Liv has been really biting into this character, sinking her teeth into it. Now you can stop thinking about it, Kira. I know you're thinking about it. You stop thinking about Liv, sinking her teeth into it, get some help. I'm certainly not thinking about Rhea. How dare you accuse me of that? So, but Rhea looks great. Liv looks great. They have really built this thing up well. It's Rhea and Liv for the Women's World Championship. Dominic in the corner of Rhea. I think everybody and their mother and their mother's mother and their mother's brother saw what was going to happen here, but they still played it well. The commentary, by the way, was Cole, Graves, and Pat, and that got a little bit overbearing. So, early stalling by Liv. Kept going in the ring, getting up, kept basically ducking and dodging. Makes sense, because even though Liv has improved, Rhea is still the bigger of the two. When Rhea was vertical, Liv was in trouble. And then there was shoulder targeting after a post spot, and it was like, oh, it's out. And I mean, like Rhea had the dislocated shoulder again. And, good work by both. Liv targeted the shoulder well. There was some good psychology here. Dominic took a dive to try and save Rhea. Rhea then jammed her shoulder into the announcer's table to stop the pain. She did it again later in the match, and I don't think it was as effective. I think once was just fine. I don't think they needed to go to the well twice. But there was an DDT by Liv. That dropkick by Rhea, by the way, is beautiful. That looks very impactful. The Clover Queef is locked on. I know it's called the Prison Trap. Forgive me. But, Liv got a nice crucifix variation for 2. And then got hold number 1, arm bar. Liv has a chair. And then Rhea did the shoulder thing again. I don't really think that necessarily needed to work. Like, the idea was, oh, Liv might use a chair, but then Rhea was going to, Rhea used Riptide, and then was going to use the chair, and Dominic takes the chair from her, like, no, you have to win you can't win the title that way. Trying to calm her down. But then a little bit later, after Oblivion, I thought that was it. I thought the distraction was enough. Nope. 2 count. But then right after, Dominic draws the referee after throwing the chair in. And then Oblivion on the chair. 1, 2, 3. And it's Dominic turning the tables on Rhea. It was Rhea being played by Liv and Dominic this whole time. And good way to basically keep Liv rolling as champion, to eventually maybe build up to a steel cage match or something, and to really kind of cement this split of a couple people from Judgment Day. Rhea and Priest obviously are going to be out of Judgment Day. My only complaint is this kind of made Rhea look a little idiotic, because she bought into everything that Dominic said, even though it was pretty obvious that Dominic basically was lying about this, but whatever. Maybe Rhea felt like she could trust Dominic because she had known him for so long and had controlled him and, had kept him on a short leash. Not thinking. So totally innocent thoughts here. Let's move on from that. Good job, though. Good job with the opener here. Good work. So, Cole did say something along the lines of, Dominic, you sorry to, two-timing son of a bitch. Okay. If we got upset with every wrestler the 2-time, we would have no favorites. So, Judgment Day then they're here, and Priest is looking for Dominic. He probably should have just checked the backstage area, but he decided to go to the Treehouse Club that they have there. And he kind of gets upset at Finn, foreshadowing what's going to happen later. And then Steiner took on Sami Zayn in a 5.5-minute match where Sami did some stuff. And I did like the Judy Bagwell and, enforced sign, I believe, or endorsed. I think it might actually say endorsed. But basically, Sami had a flurry, but got hit with one big spear and another big spear, and there you are. The Frankensteiner, by the way, amazing. The Steiners were up in the skybox. I hope Rick Steiner didn't call anybody transphobic slurs. More on that here in a bit. Stephanie is in the crowd. Hey, remember when she compared the steroid trials and what her family went through to the deaths of thousands of people with the 9/11 attacks? Remember that? Remember that shit? Remember philanthropy is the future of marketing? It's the way brands are going to win. Remember when, so many horror stories have come out about her, like, being part of creative or the head of creative and basically being a total goddamn bitch to people because she was underqualified and was only there because she was daddy's girl. And I guarantee she knew a little bit about the stuff that Vince was doing. I don't know how much exactly, but she's no saint either. She had how many goddamn times on television where she just basically would slap people, do all this, and not get her comeuppance. And all the stuff with Ronda Rousey doesn't count. That doesn't excuse all the bullshit. That's not a television character. I will never forgive her for those post-9/11 SmackDown comment. Oh, she wasn't just young. She was just, she just thought that she could get away with it because she was, the billion-dollar princess at the time. So no, I mean, she hasn't aged. Well, evil does age people. Yeah, she has fucking aged. So no, I mean, I'm not surprised Stephanie's still there, or at least, or decided to appear on camera, whatever. And I'm not absolving Triple H. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not going to be one of those people who says, oh, Stephanie's back, great, yeah, she's pretty goddamn evil, guys. You got to remember that. So then Logan Paul and MGK show up. Machine Gun Kelly, by the way. That guy that Kevin Owens really should have drilled a lot harder off the goddamn stage. Ultimate douchiness here. And LA Knight got a huge pop after breaking the windows on the Prime truck. And it's LA Knight versus the transphobe Logan Paul. And look, I'm not saying that he's the only person in wrestling that's a transphobe. And if you agree with Logan Paul on that particular thing, I do want to say, get the fuck out. Because not only was the boxer not trans, even if they were, whatever, that's just opening up a whole goddamn can of worms. And Logan Paul's always been like this. And I don't care about the impressive moves that he can do. I don't care the impressive shit that he can do. I've been calling him a piece of shit since the Japanese forest stuff. I have been saying that he is a pile of shit. The crypto scamming, the stuff that's happening with the Prime lawsuit that's incoming, and all that stuff. But this is just the icing on top of the douchey cake. So the fact that nobody, the fact, not even nobody, but the fact that so many people seem shocked by this. Oh, this is a tipping point. This was the tipping point. Oh, oopsies, he lost. And I'm just going to say right now, he did hit a nice springboard acai moonsault. Cool, you can do flips. You can't wrestle, but you can do flips. I'm going to say right now, anybody in his goddamn crew deserves nothing but the absolute worst. And I was really hoping they'd fall over the barricade and land on their damn head. But LA Knight's a professional, so there you are. LA Knight got the win with the BFT, so at least the U.S. title is saved. And LA Knight needed this victory, because if he didn't get this goddamn victory, he was pretty much going to be dead. Now, I don't know what they do with Logan Paul after this. They could put him out the pasture for all I care. They won't. They're going to stick with him because he's such a megastar. But he may have poisoned the goddamn waters where they might have to send him away for a bit. Now, do I think they will? Probably not. But again, if you agree with Logan Paul, especially about that stuff about that Olympic boxer, you're an asshole. And you don't really, you don't really have a good head on your shoulders. Because you have your head up your own goddamn ass. So anyway, nevertheless, Corbin and some guy are polishing Apollo Cruz's swollen, veiny head because it's a Manscaped ad. And then we see Otis shaving himself, and that's it. That's it. I don't want wrestling to exist anymore. No, I kid. I just don't want this to exist anymore. Speaking of things I don't want to exist anymore, Bayley's title reign unfortunately doesn't exist anymore because Nia Jax beat her, so that's that. Poor Bayley, and the women's division on SmackDown is toast. I don't care if people like Nia. You can like whatever you want. I don't, and quite frankly, there is something that happened to somebody in the main event that I wish would have happened to Nia, and I don't really care if that makes me a piece of shit or not. Nia Jax has not proven to be any better in the ring. She's only there because of who she is related to, and she has not proven to be any useful asset. They're going to run with her, and Tiffany could cash in on her. It's not going to benefit Tiffany. Nia is poison. And somebody, by the way, that has always had toxic views and really has been rewarded because of who she's been related to. So, yeah, poor Bayley. Just poor Bayley. Rollins was in disco pants for this CM Punk, Drew McIntyre big old grudge match. Now, it did have shades of 1997. I think there were a couple points where it was a little weird. It was more story-driven, but I thought it played out pretty much beautifully, in all honesty. The more I think about the totality of the match in my head. Corey praising Punk must be tough, since Corey got upset at Punk after his UFC fight and stuff like that. You know, Corey, the guy that really made it as a successful wrestler before, his widow brain decided to quit on him. And then he decided to quit on his other marriage. Nevertheless, I'm going to stop dumping on Corey here, even though I could continue to do that, because him and a certain person that were featured in that previous, Manscaped ad decided to pick on a friend of mine for absolutely no reason, so they can go fuck themselves. So anyway, I did like the part where Drew basically swung Punk into the announcer's table. That was nice. Seth was letting a lot of shit go. The counts were kind of pissing Drew off here. There was some stuff where it's like, it's just a 1 count. It's just a 2 count. And all this play is something, that Drew did a little bit earlier, plays into the finish of this. He grabs a chair. He says, Seth, you don't see anything. Just let it happen. We both hate him. He tries to hit Punk. Seth won't allow that. Seth goes, Punk, or Drew shoves him. And then he almost hits Punk when they try to recreate the SummerSlam 97 finish with Shawn, Taker, and Brett. And that was nice. And then, Drew pulls out the bracelet that, the kid made that had AJ and Larry's names on there. Punk fires back. Commentary references Punk derangement syndrome. Some people in another company tend to have that, because they still can't get over the fact that they ran off one of their biggest stars. The Sky Elbow for 2, and that's nice. Gets the Anaconda Vice on, and then he goes for the bracelet because he's bound, determined to get something. Okay, it's silly, but you know what? It makes sense in the context of this, because that's something that meant something to him. And he ends up getting the bracelet, or tries to get the bracelet, but gets hit with a Claymore. Hits a GTS, but then sees Seth has the bracelet on. Are you mocking me? What the hell are you doing, or whatever? Because, he's pissed off at him. He is fucking pissed at him. There was a rep bump, there was a GTS, but he's like, you're stupid Sabu pants and all that. And Seth was like, not everything is about you. It's not always about you. And then Punk hits a GTS on Seth and then says, it may not always be about me, but it's never about you. Good stuff. Good. They play into this where they can keep both these feuds going. Low blow, Claymore, Seth, 1, 2, 3. He didn't want to do that, even though he hates Punk. But he hates Drew also. But it makes sense that Seth would be upset at Punk also, because Punk cost him the title at Money in the Bank. Cost him a chance at the championship. Drew being upset at Seth. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. So then we get the Priest WWE 24 plug that's coming out on the 5th. Good timing, because he just lost the championship to Gunther here. So right before that, though, Priest apologizes to Finn, and I knew the turn was going to happen. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's obvious before. So this is sponsored by Straight Talk. Not that you could tell, there were only about 18 million banners there. Look, they should have booked Priest like this from before he cashed in. It would have made him a lot more interesting. I'm not knocking Priest. He seems like he has worked really, really goddamn hard to get where he is, but they clubbed each other. Gunther at one point was bleeding from the chest, and he had red on his chest. I don't know if he had worked a house show and gotten beat up. I don't know what happened. I honestly don't know, but Gunther was bleeding after some hits, so that was nice. It added a little bit to that. It had a little bit of drama, that is. There was a big old drop kick and a powerbomb for 2. I mean, Priest and Gunther were doing some good shit here. They were. The crowd was chanting something and then cheered. Was it like, we can't see, we can't see? Was like the screen off, like, the entranceway screen? I don't know. I don't know what they were chanting. Anybody that was at the stadium, let me know what was actually going on. Because they did it a couple times. But we got some nice, offense. We got a couple lariats. Priest is egging him on like this. And then Balor shows up to encourage Priest. And basically Gunther is bleeding, making him the victor. Good old Derb, getting that line stuck in my head. But he then says, what are you going to do, Finn? And then he kicks Finn. It makes sense. Gunther kicks Finn. That's okay. Priest fires back, hits the Razor's Edge, hits the choke slam. And then hits it. And they kind of had to do it where Priest ended up rolling Gunther into the ropes almost. But gets in position, 1, 2, and Finn puts Gunther's foot on the rope because he's like, God damn it, that's it. I'm about fucking taking shit from you. And then Priest looks at the replay. And I noticed that Finn looked like Popeye. Hi, you thought I could do that? Ha. I'm sorry. Calling Finn Popeye. Finn's a beautiful man. Why did I do that? Just look at this expression, though. Tell me it doesn't kind of remind you of Popeye. I wonder who my olive oil is. Who the hell would be Bluto? Would that be Carlito? Anyway, nevertheless. So, the sleeper gets locked on, then we get a roll-up. But then he goes for Finn, but he gets hit with a powerbomb, the sleeper gets locked on, and Gunther gets the victory. He's the new secondary world champion. Good. It's exactly what it needed to be. So then, Miz and Truth are out here to announce the attendance. 57,791. Then Waller and Theory show up. And then Truth says, we're at the Rock and Roll home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it's the Rock and Roll Express. That's Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, but he got his eye fixed. I hate that made me laugh. I hate that made me laugh, but it did. And then Jelly Roll hit one of them with a chair, and then did part of a 5-knuckle shuffle. Whatever. So, then we get Bash in Berlin, August 31st. I don't think I'm going to be watching that live. I'm probably going to be working, but I'll catch up on it later. So then Cody, he gets out of his bus. He has Pharaoh, the goodest boy, with him, and he's walking, and this took a while. This took a long time. He's walking, all this stuff, and then Arn offers him encouragement. Eventually, you heard that when the microphone was on. And then he says, you got a couple friends. And then you got a couple friends watching on. I hate to say it, Arn. This is not the movie Immortals. You can't summon people to come down to Earth and do shit. How'd you like that for a goddamn reference? Immortal. Who remembers the 2011 movie Immortals? Had Mickey Rourke in it, who looked like he was about old enough to be from that time, but nevertheless. Pharaoh, the goodest boy. At least they left Pharaoh in the back where he wasn't going to get scared by the pyro like when they brought him out that one time. And he gets a weird skull crown mask thing that they'll probably sell replicas of on WWE Shop. A buddy of mine and I were just talking about that actually before I cut this review, and yeah, he was right. So it's Cody and Solo in, a Bloodline Rules match for the WWE Undisputed Championship of the Universal World, whatever. There's fuck you Solo chants, and look, they kept this in the ring for the most part, but I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't get it with Solo. I just don't. I don't think that he's awful. I think he's good at times. He's not a main event guy. I know why they put him in the main event. It makes sense for the story, but he's not a main event guy. He's never going to be. I'm never going to live long enough to see him become a main event guy. We did get a nice superplex by Cody. So they were keeping it in the ring and actually doing some stuff, and it took a bit for the Bloodline interference to hit. So I'll give them this much credit. They paced this better than I thought. We get a double Tongan twist. And then here's Owens and Orton. And wow, who could have seen that coming? And RKO to one of them. And then they just fight off. They just fight off there. Solo gets hit with the steps. Cody tells him to stay down. Boom, boom, boom. And then the butt bump. And then the Crossroads ×2. And then Jacob Fatu shows up. And then hits that Whisper in the Wind. Hits that moonsault. And then hits the splash on the, smashing Cody through the announcer's table. And God damn it, he hurt himself. Now, he could have just jammed his knee and maybe he'll be all right. But he couldn't put any weight on that thing. And adrenaline was kicking in, but that adrenaline could only carry him so far. I hope he didn't break his leg. Now, I did see fan footage a little bit later that somebody sent me that, that he was being helped out and he was limping, and then Triple H confirmed that he was injured. I hope it's not severe. Do the Freebird rule and keep the tag titles on the Bloodline, and just have Solo work as a tag team champion there. That would be fine for him. If Fatu can't work, and if you need Fatu if he doesn't need surgery, if he just needs rehab, that way you keep him out there. You keep him, as a Samoan werewolf. He can do a couple spots and it works. God damn it. We may not have Jacob Fatu for a while, but at least we have Nia Jax stinking up the goddamn thing. I don't care if that sounds mean. Jacob Fatu is a lot more meaningful and useful to this company than Nia fucking Jax. So anyway, a splash and a cutter. So it looks like, oh my God, splash for 2 back in the ring. And then a cutter. And then both are down and they telegraph the hell out of this. But the music hits. Roman, I thought the roof was going to come off the place, but the place doesn't have a roof. I'm shocked the stadium didn't split in 2. They got the biggest goddamn reaction going for Roman there. And he takes a while to get to the ring, while Cody and Solo just barely take a nap or have a conversation like, hey, you think he's going to get here at some point? Make you bet he won't get here in 5 minutes. Haha, I'll take that. But then Roman shows up and stares. He's staring at both of them, but he gets in the ring and instantly Superman punches Solo. I don't get why you do that, but whatever. And then looks at Cody, hits a spear, looks at Cody again, says, go do that. And then Cody manages to get the Crossroads. 1, 2, 3. Big pop. And there you are. So that is the end of SummerSlam 2024. Overall, pretty fun event. There were things I didn't like, but there were things I did. Would I like to have seen this live? Sure, but you know what? Money's more important. I'm tired. I'm going to go to sleep for a few hours. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Reckland. I'll see you soon.